Forgot to do this part. I'm Sam.
Nailed it.
This is like two skeletons in a tin coffin having the sex. I'm Jackie.
There's no frappe setting on a chainsaw cold iron. I'm Justin, and this is R.O.T.O.R on Stinker Madness. Hello, and welcome to the stinkiest of Stinker Madnesses. My host is my name. I'm a Justin, and I got my Jacks and my Sam, and this is my podcast. I don't know where I'm going with this, but that's where.
Well, I mean, maybe this is your cowboy morning.
Oh yeah.
That'll extend on for 45 fucking minutes.
Yeah. Tank top wearer, pool guy, also rancher, also Texas cowboy podcaster. That's me. That's what I do.
Never to be seen from again, or heard from again.
God, don't they wish? Don't they all just wish I'd shut up? But I can't. This is an audio show.
Oh no, I just mean if you were going to follow the path of one Richard Guesswin, you would never be heard from again after your cowboy morning.
It sounds like you're chomping at the bit. Hey, get it? Cowboy, chomping at the bit. You know, horses, all that. But I want to go to Jackie first. Jackie, how many times have you seen R.O.T.O.R?
I think this is my second time.
Really? Okay. Did you do R.O.T.O.R blank the first time, or did you riff tracks it the first time?
It was blank.
Okay. All right. So you've never seen...
I've not seen the riff tracks of this.
Are our pure specimen. You're our control in this entire experiment, because every time we do one of these episodes that are deep, like very popular Mystery Science Theater or riff tracks, we cross territory because the jokes are just unavoidable. You talk about the plot, you're going to sometimes tell the same jokes. But you are our control, baby. You're the placebo, I think. No, the placebo is the thing you don't want to get because you have I'm cured and you've just been taking sugar pills, but you are a sugar pill, baby. So all you listeners, Jackie's jokes are her jokes. You can't TM them because she's coming off the cusp of her own mind. I don't think
I've ever seen the riff tracks version of this.
Okay, I guess it's just me. And I've
seen this like this might be the sixth time I've seen this.
Okay. I love R.O.T.O.R. I've seen it like 8 times too. It's one of my faves. I'm very excited about this episode. So let's get to it. Sam, go.
Well, Bud Lewis and Cullen Blaine are sort of rounders in the children's animation industry. Bud Lewis, who was credited as the writer and one of the producers, disowns the film entirely as he claims that Cullen Blaine and star Richard Guesswin had basically rewritten and destroyed the script that he'd come up with, which was, I'm sure, so amazing.
It's could only be RoboCop.
I think that he probably checked out during Cowboy Morning, which seems like it would have been written by the guy who was involved with it. The fucking carrot and the Texas coffee cup joke never gets old because it's the stupidest shit I've ever seen. It never fails to be the stupidest attempt at a joke that I've ever seen in my life, and just a blatant grab for screen time for no reason.
But I just don't know what he's thinking. Like, I disown this movie because the script I wrote, now that was a masterpiece. The script you wrote was still just ripping off RoboCop, which has an incredible script.
I will get to that later, and they are not.
All right.
They're absolutely not ripping off RoboCop.
Okay, all right. I'm curious.
So, I think one of the other, Cullen Blaine would kind of ex post facto, because these guys both just went back to doing animation. I think there's a lot of animation that happens in Houston, probably. I know that a lot of the anime companies, the companies that import anime and do the English voice tracks, there's a huge amount of that happens in Texas. So there could just be a whole hot shit pot full of shitty animation industry in Texas, because these guys are storyboard artists and animation directors too, like just volumes of shit that I have never even heard of.
Okay.
Like large volumes, and it looks like it's shitty. Like Veggie Tales seems markedly better than most of this shit. There's on some good stuff too. Like they've done some Disney things here and there. I don't know if maybe they don't talk to each other after this or whatever, because this was such a strained relationship situation. Richard Geschwin is a guy who is in this, and his voice isn't.
Okay.
You can tell that.
Who's
for sure.
Who was his character?
He's the fucking Texas cowboy cop. What's his name? Cold
Iron? He's
Steel?
Cold Iron?
He's Cold Iron, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I know that Cold Iron's voice does not appear in this film, but I didn't realize that one of the writers was Cold Iron.
No, he's not. Well, he's uncredited, but yeah, apparently his getting more screen time or whatever happens when you're producing a off the rails picture in Texas, 20 years before before Texas is really doing a lot of productions, then whatever happens, and you end up with R.O.T.O.R. I don't know. I'm assuming that what we saw on Tubi is the Shout Factory version of this movie.
It's the only one I've ever seen.
Because there's a scene that I don't fucking remember one bit, and I've seen this a few times, and two, it looked a fuck ton better than it's ever looked. Like, this was a good transfer on Tubi. I remember it not looking this good. Like, I was like, oh my God, there's competent camera work happening. I don't remember. At least the exposures were correct or balanced in post-production, that it didn't look like horse crap. And I was like, oh, that's kind of impressive, sort of. Erroneously, this is accused of being a RoboCop ripoff. However, that would be impossible because this was shot in 1985.
Oh, okay.
Which would be a year before they started shooting RoboCop.
Okay.
And I've actually pieced this together a little bit on my own. It says Judge something on the bike, and it's by two guys who were storyboard artists.
Judge
so this
and
is
Execute.
Terminator and 2000 AD. These are the sort of guys that would read 2000 AD in one of its little vignette stories that appears periodically in 2000 AD is Judge Dredd, because Judge Dredd doesn't get his own zine until 1990. So this is Terminator and Judge Dredd, not RoboCop. RoboCop doesn't even fucking exist yet.
Okay. All right. Good info, Sam.
And it says Judge right on the side of that bike.
Judge and
if
Execute.
anybody's
That's
reading,
the key you're missing is the Judge and Execute.
Yeah, Judge and Execute, which is fucking Judge Dredd.
That is, he's Judge, Jury, and Executioner.
And he has a fucking motorcycle. And the gun was stupid. It wasn't a normal gun, I think. Wasn't he? Didn't he have a stupid gun too?
R.O.T.O.R. or Judge
R.O.T.O.R.
Dredd?
R.O.T.O.R. Judge Dredd has an awesome gun. That's not stupid.
No, I think
it's
it was
a
just
Swiss
like
Army gun of total bullshit.
Cold Iron has the big gun, but R.O.T.O.R. really doesn't even use his gun very much. But
Either way, he's Judge Dredd.
Okay.
Also, what's weird is that the guy that plays not the senator, that's like, well, the senator's, blah, 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 and he's yelling about him on the phone, and he kicks him out of his own police science project for being a police officer, scientist, or whatever the fuck he is.
Boss, but
that guy's actor Michael Hunter, who was actually also in RoboCop.
Okay, right, there we go.
Because RoboCop was shot in Houston, which is so fucking weird.
Right.
Isn't it so fucking weird?
That is so weird.
It's so fucking weird.
Let me call Ed McMahon.
And that's why you're going to get some of the voiceover and ADR problems, is that it's not just that this guy, like, when I'm reading about it in various spots, it says production delays, and I'm like, fuck production delays. This was deemed unworthy to finish, and then RoboCop comes out, and they're like, cash in now. Go, now.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, that's what happened as far as I'm concerned.
I'll go in the recording
I can't
studio.
verify any of that, but it lines up pretty well here.
Right.
So the actress actually did something with her life. Margaret Trigg, who's the driver of the Isuzu Impulse. I wasn't able to find out if Isuzu dealership in Dallas had any. They had to get some cash from an Isuzu dealership, right?
That's what I would think.
Because cowboys don't drive troopers.
Not really. No.
No, I'm a big Texas cowboy. Let me get in my Isuzu Trooper. And then the other main car is an Impulse. Which I was surprised to find out, because I was like, She has a CB. She doesn't have a phone because I didn't remember when I'm watching this if she had a car phone, but I did look up to see what a car phone would have cost to put in a car at this time, and it was about $2,500.
Okay.
And
in
Wow.
that
You still had to
time's
pay the-
money or our money?
in that time,
Yeah, that's a lot of money then.
it's a lot of money.
Okay.
He has one in his Trooper, which I think had a price tag of $17,000 at the time.
That phone might
Which
be
is
worth
not-
more.
It's still like, this is not the car you'd put this in. You definitely wouldn't put it in an Impulse, but I was surprised to find out that an Isuzu Impulse had a starting price of about $12,000,
Whoa,
which is high,
that
but it
seems high.
also had its base level engine. It was 140 horse in those little fuckers. So the Impulse was an interesting car.
It is.
I will have to read more about it, but I don't fucking feel like talking about the Isuzu Impulse anymore. Anyway, Margaret Trigg, I'm not going to give you the whole story because it's very fascinating. I'm going to encourage you to just search Margaret Trigg because the first thing that comes up is her obit in New York Magazine. And you're like, why the fuck would she have an obit in New York Magazine? Well, apparently she was a stand-up comic and she did one man. After she does this movie, she moves to New York. She does comedy at the clubs. She does one-woman shows that she writes herself. Eventually she gets a couple of one-off episodes and then her own sitcom, Aliens in the Family, that only made 8 episodes before it got canned, and then she would completely destroy herself with plastic surgery, anorexia, laxatives, and Adderall.
Yeah.
She had a big butt, and
Okay.
everyone that talked about it was like, that was a great butt. And maybe the Sir Mix-a-Lot effect didn't happen fast enough. Because she's seeing, like, at the time where she's becoming really frustrated with her career is right around the time that Friends hits hard. And her show happens, like, the year or 2 years after Friends. And it doesn't make it or whatever. But she's seeing who's on TV, and these are all just these bony women.
Right.
And she's got a nice, thick butt. And everybody's like, just trust me, lady. They all want what you got. Don't try to poop it off with laxatives or whatever. But she started doing a lot of plastic surgery. She kind of spazzed all her cash on plastic surgery. At one point, she's doing tarot readings in the strip club, which apparently her friends say she really enjoyed because she always liked feeling like she was sexy, and she was doing as good as some of the top strippers in the club doing tarot readings, I guess. Maybe she's doing them topless. I don't know. But eventually that even like her quest to stay beautiful and what she was doing to keep it that way basically just completely shredded her body apart. And by the age of 37, she can't control her bowels. Apparently she keeps towels all over her apartment so she can't make it to the bathroom. She just craps in a towel and throws it out the window of her apartment right onto the fucking street.
Fuck. God fucking damn it, dude.
Gross.
And I start looking at the
gross,
picture like, this is a
tragic.
beautiful
Tragic.
woman who was apparently very smart. And the just sort of New York chewed up and spit out. And speaking of New York, when she finally goes all the way off the rails, her skin is basically just falling off. She's so itchy. They send her to I think it's Bellevue Hospital. It's a loony bin. She ODs in the loony bin. The loony bin says it was a heart attack from prolonged Adderall, but it seems like the loony bin was like, yeah, you can just come here and do whatever. You're New York people, so go to fucking town or whatever. She dies in the bin. You're not supposed to die in the bin. That's where you go to get not dead. What the fuck?
That's
It
a
sucks.
really sad one, Sam.
And what would add insult to injury is because she's always pissed off about those bony bitches in Friends. The last movie she did was called Dreamhouse, and the co-star was Justin Theroux, who she apparently got a little psycho about. And he didn't seem to like her. And then she would have been alive. She'd have been real pissed that bony bitch married his ass, 10 years after that. Because Jennifer Aniston married Justin Theroux for a while.
Yeah.
And that's not all.
Oh, good.
Can you believe? And that's all with her tragic story. I would encourage you to read it was a really good obit. It was a fine write-up. And when New York gives you that much, when you get that much content on New York Magazine, you know that person was somebody that was part of the performing community that doesn't end up on TV in New York. She was making it in New York as much as you can make it. And then New York happened to her and she's dead. Willard the Robot.
Okay. Willard.
In 1986, Addison, Texas Police Department, meaning that this was probably that Willard was made for this movie or made in the periphery of this movie, but it was named APD2.
Nice try.
And sold to Addison, Texas Police Department for $18,000.
Oh, boy. It's got freaking heating coil material for a neck.
Could you imagine?
Home Depot, the robot.
'Cause this is a suburb of Dallas, I'm guessing, and so there's kids that are taking their dare from APD2.
Yeah, I guarantee
How
it.
ineffective was that? Those kids are all high on crack right now.
Yeah, you got the two guys. All right, kids, let's come out together. And they start clapping. And then at some point during their song about not doing drugs, they rap. And then they do the cross arm thing. The alternative was the robot. And both were highly ineffective.
There was APD2 and Sir Mixes a lot. I like big bots and I cannot lie. Don't do drugs, kids. What did you think of the robot, Jackie? Having only seen this twice.
At first I kind of thought it was like the R.O.T.O.R. I thought that was R.O.T.O.R. and I was like, this is fucking stupid. Somebody's just going to push this thing down, right? And everybody's escaping this guy. But then the duck pipe neck and everything. And my first thing that I said to Justin was like, oh, look, they taught it how to be a sexual harasser, like as part of its programming. Like it does sexual harassment quite well.
Or
and
has Willard gone sentient and it's just he's a bastard?
It could be that too.
He's a cynical prick.
He's a real prick.
Yeah. But I thought that he was pretty good comic relief, and he didn't look that bad. I mean, he kind of looked, his blue and red face thing kind of made it look like he had some, I don't know, facial expression, but I didn't think he was that bad. I mean, I enjoyed the robot.
You enjoyed Willard?
I
always consider Willard to be the penultimate what the fuck in this movie, because you see Willard and you're just like, what the fuck? After the fucking Texas coffee cup and the horse joke and all this other bullshit, and you're like, oh fuck, again? Well, at least I won't get another one, and then there's a bigger what the fuck later that we'll talk about. That you're just like, what the fuck?
Don't forget that Rocky IV, the big one, Drago, Russia, that song, fucking Rocky's got a stupid robot. He's got a stupid fucking Willard robot as his maid. And what's his brother's name? Goddamn.
His brother-in-law?
Yeah, his brother-in-law.
That fucks everything up all the
Frankie?
time? I don't remember.
Smitty?
It's definitely
no,
not
it's not Smitty. We're getting tomatoes. Virtual tomatoes are being thrown at us right now for not remembering. Is it Paulie?
Paulie is always they're the comedy relief. He's R2 or he's C3PO to that maid robot, and he's like, are you a pleasure model? Because he's drunk all the goddamn fucking time,
Yeah.
Paulie. So hey, look, if Rocky can have a fucking robot, the Dallas Police Department can have a fucking sexual harassment robot too.
If he's asking if it's a pleasure model, the answer is always yes.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
Because at worst, you just duct tape a fleshlight to it, and now it's a pleasure model.
Yeah, look, I was just about to say that the other problem with all these 80s robots is they all look like stand-up vacuums. And if I know one thing about vacuums, they're all pleasure models. It's just right there. Yeah, I mean, just shook. Oh!
Yeah.
And then you're chasing yourself around the house with your vacuum because your dick's caught in it. Gotta call the cops, all that.
Yep. Doesn't Shoe Boogie say something like that at one point?
Shaboogi's fucking mumbo jumbo. I don't.
That's the last bit of my, because the guy that plays Cowboy Dick John Cold Heart Steel, whatever the fuck his name is.
Barrett Cold Iron. Dr. Captain Barrett Cold Iron.
Captain Dr. Barrett Cold Iron. What a fucking dick. nobody, like, that guy does nothing after this, obviously,
Right.
but at least we are pretty certain that that's his real name. Whoever played Shoe Boogie, nobody actually knows. To this day, nobody knows who the fuck that guy was.
How do you?
He was, I guess, miscredited.
Okay.
And so, like, when Shout Factory is doing it, they're like, who the fuck is this guy? And everybody's like, got no idea. Got no idea where that guy came from or where he went.
He just showed up and walked on stage one day.
When you make, because that's the thing now. So they sell that fucking robot for $18,000, which means they spent way more than that making it, which is just abysmal, right?
Right.
So the level of production that gets abandoned in Texas means that they weren't able to throw more fucking money at it. This thing had to cost way too much. That's, I mean, like, it had to cost way too much, especially after seeing this transfer that's probably Shout. Like, a lot of the footage looks pretty good. So you're like, oh man, they spent way too much money on this. And so that's how the plug will get pulled. And so you come back 2 years later or a year and a half later and like, let's quick, RoboCop's hitting. Let's fucking get this on the shelf as fast as we can. Nobody cares who Shoe Boogie was at that point.
Oh man, but that's just so weird. Like, isn't there like contracts and like
In a two
paperwork
guys
of
that
some
were
sort?
storyboard artists making a fucking film in their hometown off of the rails? No.
Yeah, but you got to call that guy. Like, hey, we're shooting today. You got to show up, guy. And they don't fucking. He just shows up.
And then 2 years later, they lost the notebook and nobody cares because they got to get it on the shelf because RoboCop is hitting
What was
hard.
that guy's name? Oh, I don't know. I thought he was one of your guys. I don't know who
It's
the hell he was.
listed as there's a chance it's him. I don't know, but he's credited as the same credit as one of the producers. So it could be that that's who he is. But if it's him, he's in the same boat as Guessweiler, sort of like, yeah, that's him, and nobody knows what happened to him after that.
Huh. Weird.
And
So,
then
I've got a weird follow-up
Sure.
question that I just now thought of.
Okay.
Sorry to take us back to Willard.
Willard.
What did the police department do with him? Is he like a greeter?
So they used
Like a
him
Walmart
probably
greeter?
undoubtedly in Dare. Undoubtedly, it was the Dare bot.
Jackie missed that
It's
part.
just like 1986. He's the Dare bot.
Yep. Nancy Reagan's clapping in the background.
Yep. She
Oh, okay.
asks if he's a pleasure model,
He said,
and she's like,
"No,
"The fuck
you're
he
the
is. I'm a
pleasure
pleasure
model."
model." Yeah,
No,
I will fucking suck circles around that fucking robot.
and you're shaped like an upright vacuum, Nancy.
God rest her soul. American royalty,
Yeah.
because I guess we have that now. Yay!
Sorry, I got distracted by the New York Times article, and I was just skimming it while you guys were talking about that, and I apologize.
Little light reading.
Yeah. Okay. That's what you do during a podcast.
Anyway, and then I guess they probably strapped a projector to him, and like I think they showed safety videos with him as well. But
Ugh.
I would just assume that he was the Dare bot, and that Dare in Edison, Texas, was more bullshit than it was in most places.
Yeah. Boy. Ugh. Okay.
I wonder if
Did
he's still
you
working.
ever hear what we had instead of Dare, Jackie? And it wasn't really us because we were getting out of there. And Dare hit Idaho way too late, I guess. But Garden Valley didn't want to do Dare. They're like, well, this obviously didn't work, so we're going to do the exact same thing, but give it a different name. And so they had the grade school, the Horseshoe Bend, and the grade school of Garden Valley come up with acronyms, and they couldn't pick between the two, and one was bad and the other was pepper. So Garden Valley's drug program was called Bad Pepper, which I'm pretty sure is weed.
Oh my god!
This is bad.
I just
pepper.
remember that the T-shirt that I got when I was a kid had a cock on it,
Okay.
like a rooster cock, and
Oh.
it was like
What do roosters
like
have
not like a penis,
to do
but
with drugs?
it was like, what does this rooster have to do with saying no to drugs?
Was
I mean,
it a rapping rooster?
I don't think so.
Okay.
They were just blue and white T-shirts.
Blue and white rooster t-shirts for Dare.
Why the fuck?
Yeah,
did
so-
That sounds
They were
as
white, and then all the print on them was blue.
you know who was cool? was that fucking McGruff, man. That dog was fucking cool.
Yeah,
and he was
McGruff was a detective.
He was getting the crimes taken care of. Why couldn't we just use McGruff for all of it? Because I like McGruff.
McGruff and Smokey the Bear worked. Don't
Smokey Bear, you son of a bitch. How dare you fucking slander his name? His middle name is No, first name Smokey, last name Bear. Smokey Bear. Mr. if you want to be formal.
Mr. Smokey Bear. We don't have him anymore. The forests are burning all the time.
Smokey Bear died. He got burned up. Yep.
He got burned up because we just quit fighting those.
Fireworks.
Yeah. The last bit of interesting, because I'll probably forget when we get there, or we'll completely forget and gloss over Shoe Boogie's appearance, is he talks about being drawn and quartered and calling it the blood eagle as part of a Native American tradition, which is not true at all.
No, it is not.
It's drawn and quartered, and that was a very European thing to do. And the blood eagle is actually a Viking thing. And it's a really horrible style of execution, I found out, where you slice on either side of the spine, and then you pull their lungs out through their back and give them blood wings.
Ouchie. Ouchie, ouchie.
Ouch.
You can live for a bit on that. That's not good. It's not happy.
Ugh.
It's a bad day. It's a real bad day. I got a also drawn and quarter thing. I learned that drawing and quartering, we learned this on Jeopardy, believe it or not, wasn't actually its own punishment. It went in combo with hanging. You would be hung, then drawn and quarter to finish the job in case the hanging was not enough. So to ensure that you were dead from all of it, you got hung, then drawn and quarter.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Because isn't there like in America or whatever with the hanging? I don't know if the divine right bullshit goes on before that, but if you got hung and something happened, like if the rope broke or you hit the ground or you didn't die, they're like, hey, God wanted you to live.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was the end of it. So I guess if they draw and quarter you afterwards, they're like, oh, you're not quite there yet.
Yeah,
if you live through this one, though, then God did want you to live.
Yeah, this is a 2-step process, just so you know. God might have been, eating some snacks during the first one. You know, he went to get some Cheetos or something. Missed it.
God just called and he said, you're fucked.
Yeah, you're not. The second one. Why do we even Hey, Gary, why do we do the first one? Because we have the platform already. Oh, yeah, see, there you go. We got to do the first one, and then we attach you to horses and rip you apart. It's really weird when only half of your arms come off, and you're drug. You know, we call it the drawn and drug, and you just got your legs and you're being drug. You know, horses, they think they're in a horse race because they're fucking horses, dude. They're competitive animals. Yeah. And they just keep dragging you along the road, and you got no arms. And eventually that's how we have a guy step on you and ride you like a surfboard. And that's how we make that center line go down the road. It's not actually paint. It's your blood. So for carriage safety, passing zones, dotted line, solid line.
Glad to hear that it was the second part, though, because at least most of those people were dead before.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hanging can be quite nasty business, but I think it's pretty quick.
Way preferable to drawn and quarter.
Yeah, I don't want that for me.
I'd rather have a head chopping.
Yeah, the guillotine.
Yeah, that's supposed to be the bee's knees.
Yeah, it works pretty good.
Yeah. You know what I thought was interesting is I looked up the cast list, right? Because we all know that I just suck ass at remembering who the characters are. And I usually use the IMDb.
2 weeks in a row.
Oh, yeah.
That's right, gentlemen. I might be looking at it right now. But I usually use that cast list to be able to talk about the podcast, right? So that I can remember who was who.
Right.
I kind of cheat a little bit now.
That's fine.
That's my contribution. You guys take notes. I cheat. But then I was like, dude, none of these people are pictured. Like, only 2 of them are pictured.
Right.
And so I'm like, shit, how am I going to remember who the fuck is who?
By the deft verbiage
I'll tell you, they're all nobody except Margaret Trigg.
Yeah.
And you can remember her because she's driving the Impulse.
Yeah. Well, you know what's crazy is that I looked up Dr. Steele, and she kind of looks like she's a weightlifter in this movie. But then the picture that comes up for her next movie makes her seem like this really petite.
No, that's just not her. That's the thing. The same thing happens with Richard Guesswin. His picture that comes up on Google is not him. That's just a different guy. If you go down long enough to see where that picture come from, it's that he knows that guy. And so the internet just fucking
linked him up.
Jane Smith knows that lady. That's not her, right? Like these people are not in the movie business.
They don't want
weird. Okay,
they don't want to remember R.O.T.O.R. Sadly, I do, and it's time we start talking about R.O.T.O.R. R.O.T.O.R. Stands for robotic officer. Okay, I'm fine so far.
Okay.
Tactical, huh? That's a it can be applied, but it's not. Doesn't work with robotic officer tactical. That's not a thing. Operation. That's vague. Research. What?
It makes sense.
No, it doesn't.
Kind of. Now that I've seen it so many times, that R.O.T.O.R. is the name of the full project. So their research, they don't expect to ship this thing for 10 years or something.
Why
like that, right?
fuck does he have a badge that says R.O.T.O.R? And
I don't know.
Because he's a robotic officer. Oh, okay. He does tactical. Okay, he does operation. Okay, so like SWAT stuff, maybe, if that's where it's going with that. Research. He does.
Well, I think it was a little bit ahead of its time because it kind of is suggesting AI, right? This robot is going to research these scenarios. Eventually, he'll become the judge and executioner. But
it's
when
so
he's
much
first
worse
released,
than that.
he will, be able to kind of teach himself about crime patterns and how things happen and what people do and when to be merciful and when not to. But then they fuck up and just release him in kill everybody
so
mode.
Instead of research, it should have been machine learning, is what you're saying, Jackie.
AI. But that doesn't go.
But machine
But then
learning
it would have been R.O.T.O.R.
R.O.T.O.R.
Yeah.
R.O.T.O.R. R.O.T.O.R.'s not much better.
R.O.T.O.R.
Like, R.O.T.O.R. kind of sucks. Why not just cop? Crime, criminal offense prevention. Bam, cop. That's the name of this movie. Yep.
Revengifier. Then you get to keep the R and it's still R.O.T.O.R.
Okay, all right. His name is dumb, is my point. So
yes.
We got a couple. They're headed to the lake. Everybody's talking about the lake in Dallas. Hey, it's a hot one out there. Gary and the chopper, what can you see out there? Well, the roads are full with people headed to the lake. So I hope you would decide to leave sooner rather than later because it's hot in Texas and the lake is looking good. The lake of Dallas, Dallas Lake. What lake?
And then we look at this car, and it's the only fucking car on the road.
Hey, Wendy. This is my Mercedes. You ready to go out to the lake? Well, since we're outside of Dallas, I'd like you to tell me what fucking lake you're talking about. The lake.
Texas is known for its bodies of water.
That's right.
No, it is not. It's a very dry state. They have ponds. I've seen like YouTube videos where guys stock ponds. They have these big like farm areas and they got a pond, but they had to build that pond to stock the ponds with the fish so that they could actually go fishing. Because the only thing I know about Texas is it's got one thing: dust. It's got lots and lots of dust.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now, and there's a shit pot full of reservoirs all around Dallas.
Oh god damn it!
There's
Well, those
like
aren't
fucking 10.
lakes. Those are reservoirs.
Lavin Lake. You got Louisville Lake. Grapevine Lake.
Why did they say they're going
Lake
to Grapevine
Ray
Lake?
Hubbard.
It's hot out there.
Creek Lake. Mountain Creek Lake, Dallas, Texas.
Mountain
Who would have
Creek.
known?
Oh, come on. Jesus.
Joe Pool Lake.
Joe.
Lake Worth. Eagle Mountain Lake. There's so many fucking lakes, it's crazy.
For Texas listeners.
Dallas is like the land of 4,000 lakes.
Okay. They're probably ponds. They're reservoirs. They're cheating, dude.
They look pretty big.
Look, I got a lake right next to my fucking house, and I don't even pay attention to it because I live in the land of lakes. I live in Lakeland.
No, Minnesota is the land of 1,000 lakes.
It's super Lakeland, but I still live in Lakeland.
Sure. There's a lot of lakes in Dallas, so just deal with it.
Well, they should have named a name. They should have done us that favor so we could have been like, oh, that's an interesting location. I would like to go to there.
Maybe the Lakers should have moved to Dallas.
Yeah, the Dallas
from
Lakers.
Minnesota.
Maybe
LA doesn't really have lakes.
Maybe the Lakers should have drafted Doncic instead of fucking around for the last 6 years. Anyways. Okay. So this couple, they're headed to lake, and they hear this loud explosion, and they pull off the side of the road, and there's a dead lady in the road, and with this cop that's covered in blood, and they're like, call the police, and he tells them, call the police, as he flashes his badge, and it's the adult joke, well, you're the police. And then some shotgun guy comes out of nowhere and he sticks it in the cop's face. And he's like,
yeah,
hey, I just watched you shoot a motorcycle cop and now you're going to die. Well, if you shoot
Which
me,
is not what happened.
You're going to shoot a cop. You're still, everybody's shooting cops, so you're not above it. Why were you to accuse me of shooting a cop when you're about to shoot a cop?
Yeah, and on second viewing, this is one of the many continuity errors that you won't know until you've seen it twice, because it's going to cut to a flashback, and later on you'll be in the same scene that you're in now. That's just that happens during the day, and this is clearly at night.
Very much so at night.
Unless it took him 4 hours to walk up, 10 feet of hill, which wouldn't surprise me because it takes him fucking forever to do anything else. So maybe it's not a continuity error. He just sucks.
Jackie and I observed that on the road, there were like little arrow reflectors. Did you see those, Sam?
I did not see the arrow reflectors on the road.
Yeah, that was weird. We couldn't figure out what those were about.
And they were giant. It was like almost like they were filming. So I was thinking about this. Mm-hmm. It's almost like they were filming at a boat dock where the arrows are kind of directing you to, this is, you're backing up your boat so that you can line it up and get it in the water, not run into anything. I don't know how true that is, but that's kind of what it reminded me of.
I don't know. Either way, this guy, the cop, is arrested, and they're like, got you in handcuffs and time to go for a ride downtown, officer. And he's like, that's fine. And then we get to learn who this guy is. And he is Police Captain Dr. Barrett Coldyron.
Yeah, Captain Dr. Barrett Coldyron. Yeah, and the people that are debriefing / interrogating him, they're like, this is unofficial. Official. And they just argue and bicker with each other.
Yeah, right.
Which you don't get to see this play out with fucking Coldyron until the end when he's like, yeah, whatever, fuck off. But it's just one of many points where the dialogue becomes absolutely curious. And you're like, what the fuck do they know they're filming this? This is what they wrote?
Well,
this is what they wrote?
It's not just the dialogue, because the monologue is also fucking curious, because he's like, I would have never have predicted this is how things would have gone 6 months ago, but here I am. And where I was 6 months ago was designing this robot cop, because I'm a robot cop engineer / doctor / farmer / cop. And there I was one morning, and the guy turns around and he's like, oh, that's interesting.
Shut up.
Yeah, shut up back there. He's monologuing he's expositioning out loud to these cops. Yeah. And we're getting like shots of them driving down the highway like he's talking to fucking us. No, he's talking to these cops like it's fucking insanity. It's just, it's crazy. Okay, so he monologues about himself and the cops and crime. Oh, the streets are dirty, and all these cops are getting killed out there. So the only way to reduce that is to have less cops on the street, is what I'm saying. And they're like, shut up, Coldyron. Hey, remember right to remain silent? Yeah, try that on for size, you fucking douchebag. Okay, so they take him in, and there's lots of shouting during the interrogation. And, oh God, I can't read my notes. Oh, they're just so bad. He says that, he was on the ranch. That's where I was, out on the ranch. And the cattle were coming in for the winter by themselves. And without cowboys to wrangle them, because I'm the only, I don't know how the cattle were coming in, but the sunrise was coming up like butter over hot toast.
Butter over hot toast, and nobody's like, Coldyron, cut to the fucking part where you're not gonna fuck. Are you gonna tell us about every step you take from the fucking bedroom to your fucking stupid coffee cup?
Well, it's funny you should mention.
I wouldn't be a storyteller if I wasn't.
It's funny you should say something because at 5 a.m. the rooster crowed that morning. And that's the great thing about this movie is it shows a shot of his alarm clock and it's flashing 5 a.m. but you don't have the deet deet deet. You got a fucking rooster crowing in the background while his alarm's going off. It's a rooster alarm.
But the rooster crows and the alarm doesn't the alarm not go off and he like smiles and is like, gotcha again, you son of a bitch. You'll never wake me up. I got a rooster and I get up on my own, you fucking piece of shit alarm clock.
Just that cock that's going to teach kids about drugs later in life. That's what I got for an alarm clock.
Cockadoodle, don't do drugs.
Okay, so he goes out and he gets his Texas coffee mug, the biggest Texas coffee mug this side of Laredo, and his toast, and my Texas toast.
Yeah, he could have had a bigger coffee cup if his coffee maker was bigger. But right. He's got kind of a shitty coffee maker.
They say everything's big in Texas except for these Chinese coffee. Yeah,
and their fucking couches for later.
Yeah, right. Oh my God, yeah. So he walks out. He starts talking. He like I said, my note literally here is he's a doctor, cop, engineer, ranger, cowboy. And he's got to blow up a fucking stump. And he's monologuing.
He does. We have to just say that he does the stupidest shit where he's putting an insane amount of sugar in his coffee. Like, yeah, oh, tough cowboy.
Yeah, right.
And then he grabs some carrots and he goes out and he gives the coffee to his horse and eats the carrot. And it's supposed to be the funniest joke ever. And the first time you see it, you want to get up and punch the TV for telling a stupid joke like that to you. And the fifth time you see it, you're just as fucking angry because it's the stupidest shit ever. It is so fucking dumb.
I don't know.
And the horse is obviously pissed.
Yeah.
He's like, just give me the fucking sugar cubes that you put in here, dick.
Yeah.
Coffee. Did you get your latte this morning, Wilbur? Dated joke. Okay. So he's got to blow up a stump. Mind you, he's monologuing this the entire time. It's not
about his.
Oh. This is not like, oh God, the stump is in the way and it's really fucking up my farming. He monologues. Yep, that's what I was doing that morning, was blowing up stumps, officers. Yeah.
And he's like, when he goes to blow up the stump, he's like, well, I was using TNT, but then I tried some dynamite and I got this new stuff. And then he blows up and he's just like, he gets lost in the moment because he's supposed to be telling this to these police. And he's like, maybe I should try something else. And you're like, so the stump didn't blow up, Coldyron? Is that what you're telling us? And why are you telling us about your fucking stump?
Well, it'll come into play later when I use my explosive lasso, because that's what I got. It helps me blow stuff up and also working on my cowboy. QQ. Because it's rope detonation.
If it's nylon rope, there's no such thing. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there is rope fuse. Why would you make it more expensive? It's just fucking fuse. You want it to be the cheapest part of this equation is the fuse, but not so cheap that you blow yourself up, right?
Coldyron, you suck. Okay, so he gets a phone call. And it's a date. It's some lady. I don't know. We could hardly hear what the fuck this conversation's on because it's not on screen. This had to have been filmed post-production because it's just a shot of his tape machine, his answering machine thing.
No, it's a fucking speaker box.
Yeah.
Because she's like, am I on the fucking speaker box again? And he's like, oh, burr, but he's so quiet you can't hear anything he's saying.
But you
and
can
she's
hear
just
her,
bitching at him.
who's coming through his speaker box, but not him, who is supposed
Because
to be
he
standing in
doesn't
the
bother to
room.
fucking walk over to it because he's an asshole. And meanwhile, in his debriefing, they're like, why are you fucking telling us this?
Okay, so you went on it. You blew up a stump, and then you got a phone call and went on a date. Is this the lady that was dead that you killed, or that was found on the side of the road? Did you go on a date with that lady? No, this is my girlfriend, Sarah Shenstenstman, because she doesn't have a name. This girlfriend does not have a name, I don't think. Maybe she does.
Yeah.
So he's like, well,
what I want to know is that they didn't even say anything about the fact that he had dynamite and had blown up a stump on his property. Like, where did you get that?
Didn't have dynamite. He has some new thing that just lit his tree on fire.
Mm-hmm.
And he just left it like that, and maybe it's all burnt down.
Either way, it was suspicious as shit.
Okay. All right, Coldyron. Well, we'll put that in the notes. So you went on a date? Well, no, I had to go to work. So I drove across Dallas for hours.
So then I took this road, and it's just like, oh my God. I took
Dude,
Presidential Boulevard.
His drive in had a montage.
And
That's how long it takes him to get to work.
When you see this, and he gets into his trooper, and you're like, oh, cowboy. You're like, okay, he's got a ranch, he's a doctor,
engineer,
and he's a policeman, an engineer. A normal person could do like one of these jobs, and the way he moves, he would be capable of doing 10% of one of these jobs.
Yeah, I go into work once a week, or every day. It takes me 4 hours to commute, because it does. The next time we get is 9 o'clock. He wakes up at 5 o'clock, goes and dicks around on his fucking ranch for a little bit, and then drives to fucking Dallas, which is way fucking away, clearly, by the time that it's been on TV. Even just on TV, his commute is too long.
It probably takes him 45 minutes to shave.
Yeah, right. God damn it, Coldyron. So he gets to the fucking police HQ, whatever police engineering headquarters of Dallas.
The science division of the police
yeah,
department.
Right. Robotics research. And sure shit, that's when we get Willard, the robot. He's in there. He's a vacuum. And Shoeboogie's dancing around with Willard. And then Willard is like, hey, baby, how about I put my hand up your ass? And the lady's like, oh, Willard, this is the 80s, so I think you're just funny rather than threatening. Ha, 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 ha. Are you a death model? Because the boys want to know if you're a pleasure model, but I'm more concerned about you ripping me apart with your strong arms.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He's a harassment model. He just grabs her butt and says snide things.
Yeah, but what if you grab my butt too hard and crush my ass cheek to death?
With his fucking limp plastic arms.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
He might put out an eye if he falls over.
Okay. So he goes over to the meeting room, the conference center, and there's people in there. I don't know who they are. And he's like, it's time I show you R.O.T.O.R. And he puts R.O.T.O.R. up on screen.
Do that. He does much worse. He's like, I'm going to tell you who you are and what your job is and da-da-da-da-da-da, brr, brr. And he drones on about nothing forever. And meanwhile, he's recounting this still. Because you've checked out and completely forgotten that while watching the movie that he's telling his colleagues all of this. And you're like, oh my God. And the best part about the movie is everybody in these shots, they've been doing them, they're just fidgety as shit. Mm-hmm. Did you notice that people are just fucking with everything? Yeah, and you're like
squirmy.
Are you guys, is this like the 17th take and you're all just waiting for lunch or something? Because everybody is fucking with something and just not really part of the scene.
Meanwhile, on screen, R.O.T.O.R. is doing, I think he's voguing. I'm not sure what R.O.T.O.R. is doing. He's aerobics. It looks so fucking terrible.
Yeah. But the first you see of R.O.T.O.R., it's like if the Terminator was designed by Richard Simmons and then got hit by a glitter cannon after that.
Yeah. With, like, Judge Dredd. He's got Judge Dredd sunglasses.
He does.
But he doesn't have skin yet. He's just the robot skeleton, but he's got Judge Dredd's sunglasses for eyes. It's, oh my God damn it.
And he's doing Richard Simmons aerobics.
Very bad. Richard Simmons. It's
and
embarrassing.
It's super sparkly.
I feel bad for R.O.T.O.R. Take that film off. That was my first try at this shit. God, Coldyron.
And then in the dialogue, they're like, so how does... There's not a lot of wires and gears. And he's like, it's a new alloy. And you just like plug it in and it gets aerobics.
Uh-huh. It's
like,
learning
what?
Aerobics.
It's learning metal.
What the fuck are you talking about?
It's metal that learns. So it's the T-1000.
It learns aerobics.
And then at the end of its little robot or aerobics thing, it like goes, yay! And it turns all blue. So they put in...
Don't forget that it shows karate, too.
Oh,
yeah.
It? Does it? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it does some really bad karate.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's got LEDs in it, though. Why did they put the LEDs in there? I got no clue. And
they didn't have LEDs yet. Those are Christmas lights.
Yeah, well, he also says, like, because it's learning metal and because it can do all this other stuff, it doesn't even need hoses and wires to operate. And I'm looking at it, and it's covered in hoses and wires, and I'm like, then why did you put them on there? Dickhead! Goddamn Coldyron. You don't know what you're doing.
It's got perfect vision in the cameras, so we put those glasses on there so we can't see shit.
Yep. Okay. So he gets a call from his boss. I don't know who this boss is, as we mentioned at the beginning. He's not, he's in charge of, he's just his boss.
He's a crooked government official that got him money from some other crooked government official.
What kind of official? He's the comptroller? I'm the comptroller, and I'm in charge of cop research and robotics. No, he's not his boss. Whatever. And he's like, okay.
He's like the PR man for the senator or something.
Yeah, I don't know who this guy fucking is. But he's like, okay, so I got a call from the senator. Oh, cool, how's he doing? He's, the guy that finances R.O.T.O.R, this whole project that's going to save a lot of police officers' lives. I really appreciate everything he's done. Are you guys going to go to Camp David with him? I heard about that. Maybe I could go to... No Camp David tickets? Okay, that's a bummer. All right, so how's he doing? Well, he hates your fucking guts and wants you to die and only gives you 6 months to finish R.O.T.O.R. What?
Gives him 60 days.
It's worse than that. He's like, somebody called me on the phone and they asked me some questions that I didn't have the answers to, so I said it's time for over-delivery. Why'd you do that? Because I'm fucking stupid.
Because I'm afraid of the senator. He's gonna whack me. It's probably Lindsey Graham. Wait, no, that would be Louisiana. South Carolina? I don't know. It's Ted Cruz. It's Ted Cruz calling this guy.
Ted fucking Cruz.
God.
Yeah, this is Ted Cruz's guy.
If you don't deliver, he's gonna call again, and it's Ted Cruz. Do you want to talk to Ted? Oh my God, we gotta finish this project immediately.
No, he's like, what is you gonna tell Ted Cruz? He's like, send Ted Cruz down here. I'll fucking duct tape a flashlight onto it. He's gonna be fine.
All right. How long do you think that's going to take? Probably 60 days. Okay, Coldyron, you got 60 days. All right. Goodbye. Have a nice day. Hey, did you know that I've got a huge coffee mug? Yeah, me too. We're from Texas, and they high five over the phone.
Yeah.
That's how
phone
Texas
5.
works. Yeah, phone 5. No, Coldyron's like, damn it, that's not enough time. This thing's going to turn into I don't even care what it turns into, but that's not my rules, and I'm Detective Frankenstein Barrett Coldyron, super genius janitor / filmmaker / actor / couch builder / cowboy / yeah, Coldyron, could you get to the part where you tell me to fuck off? Yeah, fuck off, you. All right, well, you're fired. You're fired, Coldyron. You can't fire me because I quit. No, I did fire you. I was first. I did that. That's how you're fired. I got you. You thought you were going to quit.
But then he's like, so who works for you? I need to know his name because I don't know shit about what you're doing down there, but he's in charge now. Have him call me.
Okay, I'll go down to
Or I'll call him. Tell me what his name is so I sound like I know who he is.
Do you want me to...
Sure, his name's so-and-so.
You want email or direct phone call? You want me to just have him come by? Probably like...
They still had telex. They could have telexed him.
Yeah, probably send him by around like 2. Well, I'm getting a little hungry. Maybe make it like 2:30. You think you could do that for me, Coldyron? Yeah, I'll go tell him. All right, Coldyron, your ass better get out of here because you're so fired. But make sure you tell Gary to come on up here. Have a talk with me. Also tell your mother hi, Coldyron. Yeah, okay, we'll do. Now get out of here, you piece of shit. All right, fuck you too. Go to hell. Tell the senator to die in a bathtub filled with diarrhea. Okay, so the assistant takes over, and there's cheesy music for their date because they go. He goes from getting fired to going to lunch with his girlfriend, and he's still telling the cops about this. And they have soup. It seems like there's this really bad song, like air supply level, worse than air supply level, as they eat soup, and he diet.
It's so fucking bad.
And then they leave the restaurant and go for a walk.
Into the Night is the name of the song. I had to write it down with a musical note next to the note to denote that, like, into the night.
All right, so you got fired. This seemed relevant to something that was important. Like, you really got mad about, like, oh, the research is too soon, and, you know, this thing's not ready, and there might be violence. Okay, we're trying to investigate violence. So what'd you do then? Well, I went to the restaurant, and I met my gal about town. She's about 6'2". She's a lanky lady. We had the buffalo chicken soup. And while we ate buffalo chicken soup, in my mind, I had this song that I was writing in my head called Into the Night. And we ate the soup, and then we left. And the whole time I was singing to myself in my mind, God damn it, Coldyron.
God damn it. And also they're like, wait, so you went to a restaurant and got some soup so that you could go make steaks later?
Right.
Because they're going to go make steaks later. And then they get there and she's like, I'm out of fucking briquettes. And he's like, okay. Why didn't we just get steaks at the restaurant?
You're just at a restaurant. We had soup. Okay, sure, Coldyron, whatever. Back at the lab. Okay, so wait, you're back at the lab now, Coldyron? No, I never went back to the lab again. I'm just telling you what happened at the lab. So, like, somebody call you and tell you what No, I'm just telling you what happened at the lab. Well, how do you know? I know. I'm telling you, not showing you.
Yeah.
Right? Let's do it. Okay. All right, whatever, Coldyron. What happened at the lab? The assistant takes over, and Willard's helping with the project, and there's lots of them doing not research, but fumbling around with buttons. How are we going to make this work in 60 days? We'll never make it work. Oh, boy. I'm going to be in trouble. You're going to get fired, and then I'm going to have to take over. I'm a robot, and I don't even have fingers to type on a computer screen. So, oh, boy. Comedy.
Yeah, so they fuck around and can't figure it out. They're going to go rewire it. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, we'll rewire it and it'll be ready faster if we hand wire it. And that makes sense because it's not even supposed to have wires.
Right, or hoses.
And then they like leave and then some intern comes in. Yeah. And she's got super Debbie hair. And she's being harassed by Shoe Boogie. And I don't know what she's trying to do, but she's failing miserably at it. And then Shoe Boogie just bothers her until she leaves, whilst also putting his headphones on R.O.T.O.R, which maybe this is what causes the dead milkmen cause R.O.T.O.R to come alive, because he's listening to something very dead milkmen-y.
Yeah, could be. Mm-hmm. Either way, it shorts out the test tube thingy that R.O.T.O.R's in and brings him to life. Meanwhile, Coldyron's barbecuing up those steaks. Did you see the size of those fucking steaks, though, that he brings in? He's like, you marinate them. I'm going to go get the briquettes. And he brings them up like to his ears. They're like fucking basset hound ears. They're huge steaks. They're too big.
Mm-hmm.
No way are you guys going to eat all that. She's like, well, I was thinking about making some coleslaw and maybe some potatoes. Do you want some fresh vegetables too? And he's like, lady, 10-pound steak.
Yep.
We got 2 of them. They're going to take 6 hours.
This is the one that John Candy could barely finish in the great outdoors.
Right. No kidding. They're going to take forever to cook. Just, okay. So he has to go get the charcoal at the mini mart. Meanwhile, at the mini mart, 3 no goods pull up, and they look like bad guys. They got a Camaro or Trans Am. Uh-oh.
They look like bad guys.
It's always a bad deal when 3 dudes get out of a car like that. Like, that's just a rapist situation.
Maybe they're just getting some brewskis to go fishing in, Jackie, because this is 1987, and that's a pretty badass car for 1987. In fact, you got to have some decent cash to have a fucking brand new Trans Am in 1985, according to Sam. They're not.
1985.
We associate the Trans Am as the white trash now, and that's incorrect because those fucking cars are sweet, and I'd like to have one. T-tops, fucking hair through my fuck man. Get the little skip on the kit thing, but I don't know. I'd cruise around and have T-tops. Shift to Brody, right? Burnouts, all that sort of stuff.
I would be burning out right now if I was in one of those.
Yeah, nobody called me white trash. You're a rapist, right? Oh, no, I got a Trans Am. It's a car.
No, that's only if you get out of a Trans Am with more than one other person.
So Sam and I get in a Trans Am and go down to the store to get some
I will tell
sodas.
you what really happens if you get out of one of those.
We're raping people is what you're implying.
If you get out of one of those with more than another person, is the person who's sitting in the back needs to take a minute to be able to stand up again.
Right. Yep.
Because the back seat in those suck.
You guys want to go get some sodas?
How do you know that, Sam?
Not in your car.
Have you been the third guy in the back?
Yeah, I've been in the back seat.
Yeah,
You know what? I was usually in the passenger seat of the Trans Am, but I had once or twice been in the back of our friend John's Trans Am.
She is accusing you.
We usually played video games after we drove it around, and then he would generally blow it up or break the transmission, and it would sit in the barn for another 2 months.
She's accusing you of being a rapist, Sam. The third man in Trans Am. That's what she's saying.
Third man.
I don't know. I think it's pretty crappy logic. But these guys are new ne'er-do-wells. I don't know.
They're yeah.
But Cold Iron should know. He's just got Cold Iron sense. He's like, those guys aren't good. I'm going to kill them all. And so he fucking fucks these guys up. Some of them he kills. Some of them he doesn't.
One guy is just a guy at a phone booth. He did not get out of that car.
He kicked the shit out of the guy at the phone booth.
He just fucking fucks up some guy that may or may not be involved in this nefarious behavior.
And then, like, this dude comes out of nowhere, and he's got a hostage. This lady's, like, cool as a cucumber. He's like, make one move, and I'll blow this lady's head off. And she's just like, yeah, sure, whatever, buddy. And he pulls out... He fucking stuck his giant gun in newspaper. He's like, what do you got under that newspaper? Well, it's not the news, buddy. And then he pulls the fucking gun out, and the guy's like, whoa, never would have guessed it's a gun, right? I had a gun the whole time, and now I'm showing it to you. Okay. Blam, blam. He shoots the fucking hostage.
He fucking kills the guy.
He shoots him in the heart. The hostage is in front of his heart. He fucking shot the hostage.
I thought he shot him in the head.
Huh?
I thought he shot him in the head.
No, in the chest, man. The guy goes down, and he's like, you son of a bitch, and fucking dies. Whatever. She also does karate, the hostage.
This is when you see Willard, and you're like, what the fuck? Then this happens, and you're like, what the fuck? Because she should have never been taken hostage, because the other guy comes out, and she just kicks the shit out of him with her karate. And then... Cold Iron's like, okay, and he just goes and sits in his truck.
Day 5 of interrogation. Okay, so after the soup, the other cop that's in there, the bad cop, has fallen asleep. Okay, so after the soup, you didn't have barbecue briquettes. So he went to the store, killed a bunch of guys, and there's a lady that... Okay. All right, I think I'm caught up. Meanwhile... R.O.T.O.R has risen. Oh.
Yes.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere. R.O.T.O.R.
He's obviously menacing because he has no regard for chairs. Just
Yep.
walks through chairs.
Okay, so you did you see some security footage of this robot getting out of a test tube and then walking through a bunch of chairs? No, I didn't. Huh. Okay. All right. It gets
And
to
then
his
he
bike.
hassled some guy. How do you know? Well, he's a hassler.
Yeah, it's R.O.T.O.R. I just know. And then he fucking hot dogs his way out of the parking garage. R.O.T.O.R. is not only a dirty cop robot, he's also a show off because he's
a total hot dogger.
doing wheelies throughout this whole goddamn movie. Just any chance he could get. Hey, have either of you ever rode one of those motorcycles that has the middle kickstand instead of the side kickstand? You ever seen that?
No.
I never have either.
But all of these, I think that's a Yamaha Seika. That's a race bike. I believe they all had that.
Seems like a
Makes
pain in
them
the
easier
ass.
to work on.
Like you got to rock it back and forth to get that kickstand to flop
Yeah.
up. How do you get
I
the
think-
kickstand to go down?
It folds right backwards, and it actually stows a little bit better than most
No,
kickstands.
I'm not talking. I'm talking about putting it up. Do you have to like lift the bike and then kick it down because you
You
have to
rock it back onto the kickstand.
Oh man, that just seems like a pain in the ass. I don't like
Yeah,
that.
but it makes them really easy to work on because you get both sides easy. You don't have to like one side kind of jerk
okay.
around with.
All right. Yeah. So can you like connect your keyboard to it and like play some program it with some rad tunes while you're driving? Because Yamaha should talk to Yamaha.
They should. And if they didn't do that,
USB
they
in.
really missed an opportunity.
Yeah, that's too bad. Okay. All right. So where are we at? Okay, now there's a couple driving. Hey, wait, that happened before. Oh no, this is what's her name? I don't remember her name.
Margaret Trigg, Sony. Her name is Sony.
Yeah, Sony.
And she says Sonya at one point too, but she goes by Sony.
Yeah. Sony and Greg, and they are a terrible match. They do not like each other at all. And they have recently they had the engagement party, or are they married?
He said it was a shower, so maybe it's a shotgun wedding.
Oh yeah, no, and then he talks about
usually
eloping.
this is an engagement party. So they have told everyone that they're getting engaged, and then everybody comes to congratulate them on the engagement. They feed everyone. Sometimes they get gifts, sometimes they don't. And then that's the precursor to, I'm expecting you to come to my wedding and give me a nice gift.
Okay, so Coldyron, you had to talk about all this party engagement stuff with Sony after before she was dead, right? Oh, she's not dead. Wait, she's not? Who is that lady at the beginning of this whole thing? That's Sony. She's not dead. Huh. Okay, well, I guess you're going to have to keep going. And no, I didn't talk to her about any of this engagement stuff. We were too busy. I'll get to that. Okay, so how do you know these people were having a conversation in their car? And who the hell's Greg? How do you know anything about Greg, Coldyron? I'm going to tell you, but I'm not. They get a fight. He's hauling ass. I'm bad as hell, and I'm going to haul ass. So he goes past R.O.T.O.R, who's just now being a traffic cop. And R.O.T.O.R's like, speeder's not on my watch, blip, blip, and hauls ass after them. They pull over. Oh, my God, there's a cop. Okay, hold on. Hey, officer, how you doing? Blab, blab, blab. Greg's dead because R.O.T.O.R sucks. And she's like, oh, no, Greg, I hated him. But he was my meal ticket, or maybe I'm his meal ticket. I don't know.
I don't know, because she was like, I'm going to work after the honeymoon.
Right. I thought for like a fashion magazine or something. Like she was doing good. Anyway, he's dead, and she's like, "Oh God, I'll get in the passenger seat because this cop is gonna kill me now." And so she hits the horn as she's going down, and R.O.T.O.R's like, "Oh no, horn!" And can't do anything. The horn incapacitates him.
Which is weird, because later it seems like any loud noise. So he might just be... If he gets passed by a semi, this guy's done for.
Oh!
Yeah, dude, he's on his motorcycle, semi passes him, gives him the double honk, like, good for you, officer, and he just
Thin
crashes
blue line,
and
brother.
shit.
Oh no, I killed that cop.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm just going to keep going.
Okay. I'll hang another thin blue line flag up and that'll cover that.
Yeah.
So all this thin blue line stuff happened in front of you there, Coldyron? No, it did not.
Nope.
Huh. Okay.
So what were you doing, Coldyron? Well, me and my missus had fallen asleep on a couch that was far too small for either one of us individually, let alone both of us.
It's so small. He gets off, and she's still like, "Oh, I'm so snuggly on this tiny couch."
Tiny ass couch. You couldn't lay down. He can't even sit in it. No, he's bigger than the couch.
It's a chair. It's a chair for Coldyron.
It's a two cushion chair. It would be a fine couch. It would be a love seat for toddlers.
Yeah. So we were asleep while Sony was getting pursued by this robot cop. Okay, finally, fucking robot cop is pursuing a lady. Is she the lady that is dead? That we found you clutching? No, she's not dead. She's fine. She pulls over for some strange reason, and he tries to grab her head. He's got a gun. He just shot a guy, and he's like, "Arr!" He's all shitty and crappy at being a robot that does a robot.
He just hasn't quite figured out how to like duck into a car.
Yeah, just fucking go. He sucks. So she steps on it, and he drags him into the bush, and he's like, "Oh!" He bounces over the curb. I love when anything bad happens to R.O.T.O.R, because he's just like, "Oh!" He gets banged up pretty good, and it's kind of funny. And there's cops, and they find Greg. And, hey, there's this dead guy here on the side of the road. Oh, and he's clutching a R.O.T.O.R badge. But
don't worry, because we looked him up on social media, and apparently this guy's a real dickbag.
Yeah, he's a real dickbag. Wait, R.O.T.O.R or
so
Greg?
So just take Greg.
Okay, yeah, he sucks.
They're like, I looked him up on, Are We Dating the Same Guy? And... And it seems like this guy's a real piece of shit, and the ladies don't like him. So, take your time.
So, Coldyron, were you dating the same guy? No, I wasn't dating a guy. I was dating a lady. So why were you on datingthesameguy.com? No, the ladies were on... Yeah, you cops are stupid. You don't know what's going on. So they call Coldyron. They got the badge. They backtrace him, and he's like, "Oh shit, R.O.T.O.R's gone bananas. I'll go down to the lab." Okay, well he's not there. You already know that there's R.O.T.O.R's out. He's like, "Well, I don't know that for sure." So Sony goes to the payphone, Sony, and she calls the cops, and they're like, "Okay, well just keep driving south." She's like, "This is an unstoppable killing machine. If I stop, he's gonna... Wait, if I stop, will he stop? Is he unstoppable? I don't know. I'm just gonna keep driving." Because this impulse gets really good gas mileage.
Really good, like the best.
Like all of it. All of the MPGs. Full MPGs, that's what I get. How many MPGs you got? I get all of them. 100% MPGs.
Do you remember the Isuzu commercial with the fake where he's like, it gets 112 miles per gallon downhill in a tornado? This is a great commercial.
So Coldyron, he goes to the lab, and he finds that R.O.T.O.R's gone. Hey, R.O.T.O.R's gone. So then, because R.O.T.O.R's gone, he gets told about Sony and her expeditions going south. He's like, "I gotta save that woman, but first what I gotta do is call my boss and tell him he's a dick."
Yeah,
this woman's
a pattern of
in a fight for her life
with this guy.
Hold on, you're a fucking butthole. Are you gonna help that woman? Yeah, right after I'm done sticking my foot up your ass verbally, you fucking piece of shit, boss. I told you R.O.T.O.R wouldn't be ready. But no, you didn't listen to me. Oh, I'm so smart. I'm the big... There's a lady getting chased. She'll be fine. She'll be fine. She can just keep driving. She's got one of those Chevy Impulses. Or is it a Geo Impulse? Or is it a Suzuki Impulse? I don't know. It's an Impulse of some. It's the same type of car that you own. What, a Chevy Trooper? Huh. All right. Well, either way, fuck yourself, boss. I gotta go.
Also, he's like a chainsaw on frappe.
Yeah, just fucking robots. Like
Which doesn't even mean anything.
it doesn't.
Like a chainsaw is so much worse than frappe.
Yes. The frappe. Oh, god damn it! You suck. Cold iron.
It's like a shotgun set to sprinkle.
Whoa. Holy shit, man. It's like a cannon.
That guy's got a bazooka and he's got it set to loiter. What are you even talking about, cold iron?
Sony is gone to a diner. She's like, she stops sideways, runs into the back of a diner, like, I gotta get through this diner, and if I only I'll lose him. He'll lose my scent with the hamburgers that you're cooking. But then she gets a table. Mm. What are you doing?
And then the waitress comes up and she's like, we're not serving anybody anymore. Do you want a coffee? She's like, sure. Also, wouldn't that be serving people?
Yeah, right.
And why are all these people around me getting served?
Also, it's like 4 a.m. It is quite early in the morning. And there's like just a bunch of people in there having mild conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And burgers.
Mm-hmm. The dude's making burgers. He's
cook. Making burgers in the back.
It's like, why am I here? Why am I stopped here? I don't understand. And then all of a sudden we're back at the kitchen and we hear boom, and we look at the cook, and the cook says, hey, you can't come here in here like that. I just fucking did. What that is, I don't know. Because he just came in there like that.
The cook has terrible fake buck teeth.
Oh, they're so bad.
And then when the R.O.T.O.R's like, shut up, and he puts his face on the fryer, it's a close-up of his fake buck teeth and him going, oh, no, I'm getting fried. Oh, buck teeth.
He's making Hassenpfeffer, Sam. He's got Bugs Bunny's teeth. Okay.
Yeah.
That one's a stretch.
Yep.
I think it's time for me to turn in my gun and my badge.
In Mother Russia, fries cook fork? Fork the cook.
They borscht the cook, Sam.
Yeah.
Which is beets, so they beat the cook. They're red. Beat the cook red. Okay. Enough, me. I'm telling you to stop. All right. So, oh, hey, look. I got a note that actually says gets beat right here. Huh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a weird coincidence.
So, yeah, because the guy shows up, or she runs out the front to go into, there's this long, like, probably 12 seconds too long, R.O.T.O.R standing in the doorway, backlit.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
This goes on for way too long. And she's like, I'm just going to keep staring at you. And then finally she's like, fuck it, I'm leaving. And she goes back to her Isuzu Impulse. And then dudes are like, you leave her alone. And he punches the first one. And then the second one makes a karate pose.
Oh my God, that was so
And he's
sad.
a bald fat guy with like a tucked in flannel.
It was awesome.
He's like, I know karate. So then R.O.T.O.R does karate. And you're like, that's so stupid. It can't get any dumber. And then Muscle Guy rips the front of his tank top off, but leaves it tucked in because he's ready to fight now. And that's how you do that. And you're like, Jesus Christ, it got dumber.
I love it. R.O.T.O.R tears through all these townies.
Yeah. And he walks over to the Muscle Guy, like in actuality, which had to be
he steps on his chest.
Hopefully a one-take deal.
Yeah. Pretty funny. So Sonia, she doesn't run back to her impulse. She runs to the gas station attendant who's like, hey, get in this trap door.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I've done this before. Germany, Kristallnacht. Yeah, I can hide you. Berlin up in the attic. I know trapped spaces. I have one in my gas station booth attendant for ladies who are being traced by authorities. What the fuck?
It's probably where he keeps his moonshine. Plausible. So usually they're just shaking me down for my shine, but this one looks like he's serious, just hiding there.
Oh, and we should say that R.O.T.O.R's got like past vision. He doesn't have R.O.T.O.R vision. He's got past vision.
Yes, he can see into the past so that he can see crimes being committed and then know to execute them.
Yeah, so he can follow her.
Or just see where she was before or how she got, like, I don't know.
Yeah, he just sees her run into the trapdoor. And he's like, pulls the gas station attendant out. And she's like, oh, shit, that didn't work at all. And she runs away to a semi-truck. And
oh, that's right, yeah.
To a big rig. And the driver, he's like, hey, don't mess with ladies. That's not nice in the park. And R.O.T.O.R just shoots him. And the guy says, he shoots him in the fucking chest. And the truck driver is like, son of a bitch. And shoots back at him. And he's got a fucking giant hole in his chest.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
That's because they're trying to tell you, gentlemen, that truck drivers are tough.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't fuck with them.
God damn, that one stung, you son of a bitch. Have some buckshot. Okay, so
he's been shot before. He knows.
So you saw the guy get shot and shoot the buckshot into R.O.T.O.R. Is that right, Coldyron? No, I wasn't there yet.
No, not there
I
yet.
hadn't pulled up. Huh. All right. But then I pulled up and I grabbed her like she was a hot biscuit on a Sunday morning, covered in gravy, right as the sun was coming up. Just lovely looking out over the
Shut
field.
up!
God,
Shut up!
Oh, sorry.
Back to the story, butthole.
I pulled her aside and I said, little lady, you watch out for bad robots because I'm about to shoot this one. He plugs R.O.T.O.R like 4 times in the back, and R.O.T.O.R's like, and he's like reaching for his back, like, itchy.
Mm-hmm.
I love it when robots do that. Dang it, you got me. And then she drives away while Coldyron's getting beat up by the fucking R.O.T.O.R. And he stops it by holding a thing. And
he has the key. It's his deactivation key.
Yeah, but
and
he doesn't
threatens
explain that.
R.O.T.O.R with it. Well, no, but we explain that later, and then you go, so why didn't you just turn him off right then?
Right then. But there's no setup for it. Like, oh, God, I got to stop by my office and make sure I get that deactivation key for R.O.T.O.R. He just holds up like he's fucking Van Helsing, and Dracula's like, the garlic, That's what
so maybe he doesn't deactivate him because R.O.T.O.R like runs away, and it's not at any great speed, but it's obviously faster than this man can move, as we've seen. So R.O.T.O.R's gone, and he's like, I'm going to display that I don't know how radios work now.
Yes.
So he hops into his car, and he goes, breaker, breaker, Sonia Baker, pick up. And then she fucking does, because she's got a CB in her.
She's got an impulse CB.
She's got an impulse CB. And then she can.
Yeah, this part was just so fucking ridiculous. Like, this is the first time we're seeing the CB, and it's like, what is your boyfriend doing on the weekends that he has a CB in his impulse?
The 1985 impulse is coming your way, America. It's got a smooth 140 horsepower inline 6. It comes equipped with unlimited range for gas mileage, and every new impulse gets a Citizens Band radio included, just in case you need help on the road from some truckers, or probably gonna get raped on the side of the highway from being like, hey, I got a flat tire. Anybody out there want to help? But all for the low price of, what'd you say, Sam? $15,000?
I think they started at 12.
$12,000 in 2024 money. That's like a fucking 48,000. You can get a goddamn BMW for the price of this piece of shit.
None of the things with this impulse add up. It's got a CB. Her dead fiance was like, you shouldn't work. And she doesn't go, oh, you drive an impulse, motherfucker. I definitely need a job.
Why did we could have got a fucking a Z car. We could have got a Z car.
Yeah.
God damn it. You're an idiot, Greg. That's my Sonya voice. I don't know why I'm still great at movie trailers, but also weird in bed. Do me, Greg. Do it harder. In a world where I'm getting porked by Greg.
Oh my God.
So this was funny. I
It's a
read this in the
disappointment.
periphery because we just got there, so I have to tell it anyway. Apparently, one of Margaret Trigger's ex-boyfriends was like, one time she was like getting really kinky and she wanted to dress up like a Catholic schoolgirl, and I was her uncle. And then she's like, Uncle, help me go to bed. And I tried, and she flipped me off and left. I'm like, that's awesome. Totally not what you thought was going to happen.
Okay, so Coldyron's like, all right, just keep driving down the road. Okay, you're going to be right behind me. No, I got some stuff to do. I'll see you in a few hours.
This is so...
Make it to the cabin by 4:00. She's like, that's going to take me 35 minutes. He's like, yeah, but just keep driving around until then.
It's like,
This is
that's 8
really
hours
bad.
from now.
He's like, I know that you can do it. You can just keep driving. Just stay moving. And she's like, I'm okay. Where are you going to go? A lot of different places
Don't
very
worry about
slowly.
Don't worry about that.
Don't worry about that.
So he gets on the phone and he calls Dr. Steele and says R.O.T.O.R's out, because Dr. Steele also helped the design some element of R.O.T.O.R's
She
design.
did the body and he did the brain.
Okay, yeah, but they've never met. So it's 8:30. Mind you, this whole fucking sequence took place at 5 a.m. It's now 3.5 hours later. And R.O.T.O.R's fixing his bike someplace at a gas station. I guess it got shot, maybe? Did we miss that?
Yeah, he did shoot it. He said, I crippled him, his transportation.
Yeah.
You'll have a head start.
Okay. So he's at
He
this
shot
gas
it like
station.
4 times.
He's at this gas station fixing his bike, and this gas station attendant comes out, and, oh, hey, officer, I'm just going to slide under this truck nice and work on that muffler I've been doing. You just keep going ahead and using my tools and sucking up free gas because you're, hey, thin blue line, right? Thin blue line, right? Don't let those darkies tell you how to do it. Yeah, fuck Black Lives Matter.
What?
I'm just saying, thin blue line, you know. Everybody's got a flag 'cause Black Lives Matter. I'm just saying. That's what this guy's saying. And R.O.T.O.R grabs these jumper cables out of nowhere and starts, like, flashing.
He heals himself by jump starting himself.
But he doesn't, like, connect the cables to his nipples or anything. He just grabs onto the handles.
Yeah, and then he's okay.
Those are aluminum. They don't transmit
They're probably
electricity.
not even plugged into anything yet.
They're not.
And it was a trickle charger, so it would take for fucking ever.
They're just, and he's like the whole. I guess all of Earth starts flashing because the racist guy under the truck is. I'm assuming he's racist. Is like, oh no, and he slices his creeper out from under that and starts schmeving for this other truck that just came out of nowhere, and he's like, God forbid, legs, don't fail me now, and jumps into the back of this fucking truck that came out of nowhere, and they peel off.
Yeah.
And R.O.T.O.R's standing there going,
where did he
well,
end
that was
up,
weird.
you think?
What?
Where does he end up, you think?
Louisiana.
Tacos, tacos, tacos.
Yep.
That's Terry's origin story.
No.
It's so fucking weird and hilarious, and I love it. And it's maybe my favorite scene in the whole movie. So, Coldyron, he goes to the airport. Okay, so let's let's check the reader board here. All right, she's coming in from Boston. That's 45. Oh, delayed.
He doesn't even know what like airline she's on. He's like going to different ticket counters, like asking, and they're like, "We can't give that information out, sir. If you really know this person, then you know what flight she's on." Well, you don't understand because I don't write anything down, and I can't open my mouth to speak. So I know you probably aren't hearing me right, but this is an emergency. I'm sorry, sir. What? Emergency.
Reminds me of this time where I had a cup of coffee and a carrot, and I fed the coffee to the horse and ate the carrot myself. You see the comedy in that there, airport attendee? Don't you have something important to do? I'm just guessing. I don't know. Seems like something might be dire situation. Huh. I don't know.
Yeah, eventually they're just like, okay,
important.
over there.
Yeah.
Over there.
So she gets
Just
out.
get the fuck away from the counter.
Dr. Steele gets out, and she is amazing. I love Dr. Steele. She is fantastic. She has a femolet.
It's a Pepe Le Pew femolet.
Yeah, all right. Well, it's not even like dyed, it's painted. Jackie and I noticed this, that like it's sprayed on Pepe Le Pew stripes.
Yeah, like you would at Halloween.
Yeah, it's really powdery looking. It's because that's what tough doctor ladies look like. I'm guessing like Rogue from the X-Men type.
Well, they're
what the fuck are they going for here?
You're only getting half of it because there's going to be a reveal, which I think is the ultimate what the fuck. Because she's wearing a sweater dress. You're just like, this lady in this sweater dress in Texas in the summer. He's wearing a fucking jacket. Whatever. She's got the fucking... Trig's got a goddamn sweater on too. Like everybody, 87 degrees is apparently cold outside. So we just go, wow, that's terrible hair and really weird sweater dress that I kind of like. Kind of like the sweater dress.
I think you're really selling the hair short. I think the hair is awesome.
Oh, I think she's amazing. I think all of Dr. Steele is 100% perfection. I want to see a Danton and Dr. Steele team up. That is my dream movie. Buddy cop.
Yeah.
Dan and Dr. Steele. Great movie.
But they're like just kind of meandering.
They're
back,
not doing
like
anything.
You know what's great is that our person is out there. She's still trying to keep driving to get to this cabin on the lake.
Tired.
And he's like, hey, why don't I drop you off at the hotel so you can get freshened up?
Oh my God.
They go to the hotel.
I'm running out of road to drive down. Falling asleep from 24 hours of driving. Back hurts. I've got an ass boil. Boy, I hope that cold iron shows up soon.
Yeah, this lady is just fucked.
They're like, all right, so you got to change, right? Because that sweater dress thingy, we're chasing a rogue artificial intelligence cop with a gun. You're going to have to wear something tougher than a sweater vest, I think. Well, I need to check into my hotel anyways. All right. Hey, what were we talking about just a minute ago? Is there like something important? I don't know. Let's go to your hotel room.
Leisurely.
And I like
checking in.
They check in
like
on
the checking
screen.
In takes forever.
On screen. Okay, so let me get this right, Coldyron. You know that there's a rogue AI cop that you made that's out on the street.
Yeah.
And then you're talking to us about the check-in process at the Hotel Lakeview? God damn it. They eventually get on the road. And there's
no, this is the final what they go up to the hotel room.
Okay.
And then she like starts gearing up and he's just sort of reflecting on life, turned with his back turned, mumbling and mammering about one thing or another. And then he turns around and she's like jacked muscle lady in military parachute pants. And you're like, what the fuck? This is 10 times what the fuck
dress?
is the robot?
Sweater dress earlier? Huh. Is that your plain clothes? Like, I don't mean plain clothes like your plain clothes policeman. I mean, that's what you wear on a plane is a very heavy sweater with a dress. Just so you... I mean, look, the whole fly, come fly with me era from the 60s, Frank Sinatra and stuff. That was a classy time, and I wish we could go back to that and all, but you don't have to dress up for the plane. And even if you did dress up for the plane, you wear a sweater dress, like you're gonna...
A sweater dress.
That's what you wear at
fucking
your
hot
mom's
fart
Christmas.
box.
Like, it's not...
Don't lie. He turned around, took one look at her, and he felt shame. Shame that he wasn't in better shape.
Oh, yeah.
And
No,
that she
she's
could
twice as
kick
tough as he
his
is.
ass.
Look, I'm the brain, you're the...
She's a badass.
I'm the brain, you're the brawn. That's what, I'm a cop / engineer / doctor / police chief / cowboy / rancher / philosopher.
Yeah, and
Did
she's
we add that
a
one on there?
doctor / bodybuilder / commando
/ engineer.
Yeah.
/ engineer.
/ cool ass lady.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I would like to have Dr. Steele as my personal friend.
Yeah.
Like, I admire her hair. It looks great. And then when she takes off stupid ass sweater dress, I'm like, holy fuck. That woman is awesome. And I am ready for her to show us some action at this point. I'm like,
Oh boy. Yeah.
oh god,
That's too bad, 'cause they gotta
she's gonna
drive to
fucking
where
shave
they're-
the day.
She's going to be, when this eventually, hey, so Coldyron, this lady sounds pretty shredded, like tough, like wearing a tank top and like camo pants. That's pretty tough look for her, guy. She's got a family. Okay, man. She is probably going to get R.O.T.O.R and just like beat the shit out of karate. Well, that's a funny story that, we're going to have to talk about because right now we're at the point where we're driving in a car. Again? God damn it! Yeah.
But they do at least give us something in this section to sort of think about when they explain what they've done. And she said, I built the body, you built the brain, and you only used the lower functions of your brain.
Yeah.
Well, that seems like a bad plan, Coldyron.
I have other.
And then they go into this thing, well, it wasn't supposed to happen until, and it just becomes the most 80s Republican horse shit ever, where they're like, well, let's not do anything to not descend society into chaos and madness. Let's just expect that to happen within 5 to 10 years and have killer robots for when it does.
Yep, right.
Because that's the plan. Just wait for it to become a wasteland and then he'll be perfect in there. Kind of. He's just going to kill everything. Honestly, he's going to kill everything indiscriminately, but everything's fucked anyway already, so whatever.
Wait, so you're telling me
And
the vacuum robot that keeps the kids off the kids, that's not going to work? The world's going to be a dumpster fire in 5 years because everybody's going to be on the why are we in charge? Who put us in charge?
Remember, you're the brains. I'm just the brawn.
Said who? The cops?
We're not knocking over tin cans here.
Huh?
This is reality.
What?
Yeah.
When I stack them, they stay
fucking
stacked.
A. God damn it. What the hell does that mean, Dr. Steele? When they get stacked, I'm the stacker of stack. They stack and I stack them. I stack them up.
The big stacks stay stacked.
Yeah, they stay stacked up
What is
like pallets.
stacking?
That's like I put the pallets up.
It's kind of like McDonald's when the hot stays hot and the cool stays cool. Good taste, great taste at McDonald's.
The stacker.
So
Little
the
hammer.
stacks.
Yeah, little stacks.
Little stacks, so they have like chips.
Yeah, I stack them up. I stack them up high. High.
They
I'm
stay
a high
stacked
stacker.
unless somebody unstacks them.
Here comes the high stacker. Bird up.
Up.
Lyrical gangster. Bird up.
Word 'em up.
Excuse me, Mr. Officer. What are you talking about, Dr. Steele?
Don't stack them like that.
God damn it. I thought I was the weirdest person in this story, but you've come in weird. She's like, oh, okay, all right. So yeah, I'm stacking, and I got a tracker. I got a stacker tracker. I got a tracking for stacking. And he's up there. Like, oh, okay, well, let's just go up there. And I guess Sonia has like, R.O.T.O.R pulls up behind her, and she like
he catches her finally.
Does some cool. The Suzuki Impulse. Wait, Suzuki. Who made this?
Isuzu.
Isuzu Impulse. Now for only $12,000. Handles great in the turns with its racket pinion steering and double wishbone suspension. If you're ever chased by a cop, he'll just fucking crash his motorcycle off of a goddamn cliff. But then I guess you will too, because you're gonna pull off to the side of the road. Now go to your local Isuzu dealer. Do they have those? No, I think you gotta go to Chevy. Okay. I don't know. I don't know where the hell you get these cars. What kind of company is Isuzu anyways? Are they Korean? Japanese?
No, it's Japanese, yeah.
Chinese? I don't know where the fuck you get a goddamn Isuzu. Jackie had an Isuzu Rodeo. That was a bad call.
I loved that car. It was fucking badass until I ran it into a cement stairwell and I couldn't get any of the doors open, and I finally had to concede that I needed a new car.
See, we're telling you, you can't control these things. They're death machines.
Yeah.
We had 2 troopers. I grew up with 2 fucking troopers. My mom had a 4-door. My sister had a 2-door. And they sucked. They sucked so bad. They were awful cars. My sister smelled like shit. I'm not saying like, oh, this is a smelly car, man. It smelled like shit. Like animals had gotten inside of it and shit inside the back. And it is a big space back there. There's nothing back there. It's not like a Land Rover or Land Cruiser like these other cool ye olde time overlanders where, you got seats or, cargo storage. It's just a big open fucking nothing back there. So it's like, oh, we're charging you a shit ton of money so that you could buy a car that's got nothing in it at all. Not even like the oh shit handles or like nothing. Not even plastic mold. I mean, there's nothing in the back of a fucking Isuzu Trooper. And the seats were uncomfortable. The stereo never worked, ever. And it was a factory stereo. And this was a goddamn fucking new car, Jackie. My mom bought a brand new goddamn Isuzu Trooper. And the stereo did not work from the factory. Like, now for only... What do you think a trooper is if the impulse is 12?
Troopers had to start at 17, and if you got the factory stereo, you're probably flirting with $20,000 on that car.
Stereo is optional. We're not real clear on how that works.
Feel like the Trooper was the absolute top of the Isuzu line, was it?
And they were fucking tippy. They had the tiniest, skinny-ass tires and tippy as fucking shit. Isuzu sucked, man. God, I'm glad we're done with that. I hope they went bankrupt, because fuck them.
No, they don't.
Oh,
the
God
diesel,
damn it.
the Duramax diesel and the Chevy's in Isuzu.
Oh, no. They're still... Oh, they make the lorries and stuff, don't they?
Yeah, they make one of the best engines that there is. And ultimately, the engine that was in the Suzuki, the Swift/Geo Metro, that 3-cylinder engine is going to go down in history as one of the best engines that's ever been fucking made.
Yeah, but wasn't that a Suzuki?
So... That was a Suzuki. I'm just saying that Isuzu and Suzuki have things that they do very well.
Yeah, I like Suzuki. I'm good with Suzuki. I'm not good with Isuzu. Don't want that.
No, that Isuzu diesels is fucking solid a diesel engine as has ever been made.
Well, they better not put a stereo in those big rigs because they won't work. Sorry, England, you can't listen to BBC4 anymore. You got an Isuzu radio from 1987.
Get some headphones.
Yeah, get some headphones. Okay, so anyways, I don't even know. Oh, yeah, she crashes, just like Jackie. And she gets out and runs for some reason into the woods. And
this is where I first notice her outfit is very strange.
It is very strange.
It's kind of like their parachute pants, but it's overalls. But they're not high enough to cover her braless turtleneck. Mm-hmm. And then she's got a cardigan on top of that. And I'm like... You're wearing something absolutely ridiculous, and you still look pretty hot. So you must be really hot.
I was just thinking that, I think she's a hot lady, and her clothes are dumb.
Mm-hmm. When you can wear that and you still look hot, you're stupid hot.
I think it's a dumb look. Like that's a dumb. Look, I'm big on 80s retro attire, like the leotards and all that, and the tall socks and the butts. You know, the floss that goes up to the floss that goes up to buns and the big hair. We've all rehashed this many times. This I do not enjoy the look of at all because it's a dumb look. But she still looks hot.
She still looks hot.
Jackie, everybody agree? This is a dumb look.
Yeah, it was amazing how stupid her outfit was and still, like, absolutely stunning she still looked. I was like, no, nobody should be able to look that good.
It's got to be uncomfortable, too, because her overalls, you know, like her
they're just kind of digging into the side of her boobs.
Yeah, because they got the elastic and like they're supposed to cover her rack, I think, but they are failing. I don't know, man. And then she's got a sweater over the whole thing. I don't think they're supposed to be
covering shit.
They're not supposed to be covering shit. They're just terrible.
Yeah, it's a dumb outfit. Don't bring this one back at all. Anyways, so she gets to this fishing lodge, which I guess is where she's supposed to be, and then she finds a paddle boat, and she's like, "Oh, I guess I get in the paddle boat, cold iron, right?" He's like, yeah, that's what I said to her. Or
to just paddle out there.
I don't know what I said to her, officers, to be truth. I'm getting pretty tired.
It's
been a while.
Does not untie the boat from the dock, though.
It's been a while since I've had a giant Texas-sized mug of coffee. You got any coffee around here? Yeah.
He didn't have any of that day. His horse drank that coffee.
Yeah, right. Okay. So Cold Iron and Steel, they pull over because they got the tracker all of a sudden. And R.O.T.O.R's about to shoot Sonya because he showed up. You know, he walked over there very slowly. But Steel's got a fucking one of those badass combat shotguns.
Yeah, she's got a really short, probably like 18-inch shotgun with double pistol grips, and she's just going to pump a bunch of buckshot into him.
But I guess she dies.
No, it's way worse than that.
It is.
So,
but god damn it, dude. She's like going to fight him and fuck him up, but then
she's
fighting him in the background when he's talking to...
Oh, it's so much worse than that. So, fucking Cold Iron shows up, and he's like fucking around up at the top of the hill while she's fighting with R.O.T.O.R. And then Cold Iron's like, "Hey, lady, get up here." And she does. And then he wanders around, and this whole time they're fighting. And then he tells her to get in the truck, and then he follows her up. And the whole time that he's like telling her these just rudimentary instructions on nothing, and she's kind of tuned out on him, the whole time in the background, they're just fighting with each other.
And it's the worst choreography.
Constantly.
This is not even choreography. They're freelancing. They have to be freelancing this fight.
They have to be freelancing.
It's real bad. I mean, they're like swinging punches, and they're like a foot off every time. It's amazing. It's gorgeous.
And Cold Iron is just taking forever to do anything. Eventually, R.O.T.O.R. bear hugs Dr. Steel to death.
I guess.
And we never see her again.
Yep.
And then what happens, and before that actually happens, he starts with this, "Hey, throw me this. Hey, throw me that." And what plays out is just MacGruber.
Yeah.
Quick,
much.
Throw me that. And it's like, fuck off. Just, what are you even doing? And he's taking forever to like untie this rope. And then he sets a snare trap for R.O.T.O.R. who won't get in it. So he starts hurling insults at him and it doesn't work. And you're like, you're a fucking idiot.
But then he gets one leg in finally into this lasso. And all of a sudden R.O.T.O.R.'s other limbs, he's drawn and quartered.
So, you know, what happens is that instead, because Cold Iron's fucking striking out hard, Sony honks the horn and it causes him to go, oh, and then he falls in, and then she backs up, getting his leg, and at that point, Cold Iron can go back to his dog and pony lasso tricks.
From three other angles. Like, hold on. I got to run over here. Okay, got that up. Now, hold on. I got to run over here.
Putting on a different outfit every time and pretending he's a different cowboy with how much fucking around he's done in this movie.
Get along, little doggy. Okay, that's my Roy Rogers. Runs over here. He fucking dons his Gene Autry outfit.
And then the rope is the dynamite, I guess.
No,
so
I think R.O.T.O.R blows up. He's like,
yeah, that's
his
the rope from before
explode.
with the tree.
It's internal combustion thing, right? Because Dr. Steele tries to get into his chest.
Yeah, she digs
right?
into his tummy.
Because she says that if she can get in there and detach it from the rest of his body, then he'll be incapacitated. So the goal is to rip his limbs off in the hopes that it does the same thing.
Oh, so...
But instead, he uses his magic dynamite rope to just fucking blow him up.
His magic dynamite rope, but at the same time, he's like, there's this... I think Jackie's... It's both, because he's like, the pressure regulator's about to go. He's going to explode. Not the rope. He doesn't have a detonator.
So he just fucked around with some fucking rope.
Yep.
And Dr. Steele killed him and lost her life in the process because he was just jerking around like a jackass the entire time.
This is Cold Iron's fault that Steele is dead. For sure. Well, I mean, it's his fault anyways, because, you know, he invented this fucking killer robot like an asshole.
I mean, I can't say no because magic dynamite rope isn't a thing, and that's just some white, like, shitty rope.
And, yeah, yep.
So now what happens is, I guess, Sony gets out of the car and falls down and hits her head. And then he wanders around yammering about nothing for about 6 hours until it's dark.
No.
And these people from the beginning of the fucking movie show.
Way off. Way off. She forgot to take the keys out of this impulse and put it in park. And it has rolled back and runs her ass over because it's made by Isuzu. And it's a piece of shit. It popped out of gear because the fucking stereo's not going to work. You better believe that gearbox isn't going to work either. And she gets ran over by her own car. That's how she goes, man.
Yeah.
Coming to you for $12,000. You don't need to worry about parking it because it's not going to be there when you come back outside either way. Just park it how you want it, lady. That's the new impulse parking system. Comes standard on every Isuzu that you can get. We're only charging $12,000 for it. It's a good deal, right? No, that's a terrible deal. Buy a Geo. Wait, Geos are like $6,000 at this. Why the fuck are we making this impulse, Gary? I don't know. I got to work in my Geo.
And then the cops are like, so what happened for 6.5 fucking hours? And he's like, I don't know.
I philosophized.
Yeah.
Looked out on that lake where that boat was at, and I contemplated where we're all going and how we're going to survive it to begin with.
And if I could still have sex with Dr. Steele's body.
Ew, that's gross. I definitely didn't think about that. Officers, I did not think about necrophilia. I'm just going to let you know, okay?
He doesn't.
I don't know who
just
this lady is over here, but she's weird. I think about coffee, big coffees, and horses. Horses drinking coffee. That's what I think about, weirdo lady.
So meanwhile, his tribunal doesn't really come to an end. He just goes, by the way, I've got a ranch, so fuck off, and just walks out.
All he does. He puts the key, the stopper remote that he never fucking used on the desk.
He tried to, but R.O.T.O.R's like, that's not going to work on me anymore.
Yeah, I'm immune to garlic. Blah, blah. Wait, how did you do that? Because of the jumper cables thing that I saw and told the cops about? Huh. I should have thought about a fuse. Dang it. Never installed a fuse in you. And then he's walking out the building and he's like strutting, you know. Yeah, back to the ranch where I'm going to just go on and do my ranching stuff. And while I'm on my way to my Isuzu, I'm going to postulate about life and contemplate the future of this town and everything. Oh, God! 2 shots in the back. His boss comes out, stands over him, says, "Justice served. COD." The end.
And you're like, you just shot a man directly in front of the police station.
That's the police station.
In broad daylight.
Yeah, well, it was justice, baby. Texas justice. Cash on delivery. Not cop or criminal offense defendant. That's not what that stands for. It's cash on delivery. Now pay me cash, Coldyron.
COD. Computers or ducks. Not sure which.
Neither makes sense. I don't know why I said COD. What am I, a fucking FedEx guy? FedEx of bullets. Ding dong.
So,
it's bullets.
Meanwhile, his boss that shot him, like, becomes the benefactor to his nephew and sends his nephew all of his research.
Right.
And a bunch of cash. And his nephew's like, this all makes sense. And then we see Dr. Steele, and we are then robbed of the greatest movie experience of what should have been our lives, because we see Dr. Steele as R.O.T.O.R 2, and we never get it.
We never get it. That's so heartbreaking. Oh my God, that's your freaking movie. Questions? I don't think we have time for that. That's like its own
what
podcast.
question do you have? Because any question you'd have about how stupid his life is going to be is answered when he gets his ass shot at the end.
I need to read the book of R.O.T.O.R. This needs to be adapted into a novelization, and I just need to get Barrett Coldyron's thoughts about everything, because it is bonkers shit. The things he talks about in this fucking movie, his philosophies. He fucking references Milton at some point, Sam.
Yeah.
Paradise Lost. He's singing Paradise Lost in this fucking rogue cop movie. It's insanity.
It's almost like the movie shoots him because it's tired of him. Because there's no other reason why he gets shot there.
Right, none.
They can take the research. There is no reason to shoot him.
None.
And they're just like, fuck you, Coldyron, I hate you. And you're like, oh, I guess he's dead. That's kind of good, actually. I hate that guy.
Okay, Jackie, you got a question or?
Nope.
Fuck, man. God, oh my God. All right, let's just do final recommendations. We're at 2 hours on this one anyway, so start with Sam.
You have to watch R.O.T.O.R at least twice, not just do it. This is like required reading for the class. I think this is in all of our Hall of Fames. R.O.T.O.R is fucking terrible, and it is so much fun.
Jackie.
I agree. Seeing it the second time around, it was even better than the first time. And then you start noticing weird shit that's in the movie, like the giant arrow that's in the middle of the road, and like, why is that there? And I just can't say it enough. If you haven't seen it, you got to do it.
Yeah, it's a mega do for me. I love this movie, but it's also a weird one. It's not just a bad movie, it's a weird bad movie, and not because of the plot, but the way it's made, the way it's written. I almost think that they knew that the movie sucked and that it was going to suck, and they ran with it and had a great time. So I almost wonder if this is a little tongue-in-cheek, a little satire here and there.
Well, according to the original writer, Buddy Lewis, said that there was a lot of that, and they took a lot of that out for the Coldyron philosophy screen steal nonsense. That there was a lot more comedy originally in the script that was taken out.
Yeah, but the comedy is provided via things that aren't really on-screen comedic. Like, just the subtle thing of Coldyron and Steele teaming up. It's just bullshit. It's just constant bullshit.
It's total bullshit.
Throughout the entire fucking thing. And then it's dumb at the same time. Usually just, like, movies that try to make bullshit fail on the, wow, this is also really stupid. Like, you can't have both at the same time. Yet R.O.T.O.R manages to walk that line fucking perfectly, and I absolutely, wholeheartedly, without a doubt, endorse R.O.T.O.R. I wish we'd saved this for our 600th episode, which is just like a few episodes away, because that's how good R.O.T.O.R is. It deserves that level. Is it the best stinker we've ever done? No, but it's It's up there. I love this movie, and it's
Yeah.
Hall of Fame material for sure. Next week on the show, it's Sam's pick. Cool. He seems
What
ready.
did I have dialed? I'm not ready.
He's
I'm
prepared.
Just going to admit it right now.
Okay.
I've got choices to make. There's I sort of made a bunch of stuff on my Amazon watch list. It's probably going to be on Prime though, just because I've got so many stacked up on that.
Well, I'm afraid
He's going to do Flash Gordon.
we already did Flash Gordon. Jesus Christ.
No Flash
Flash.
Gordon.
Oh no.
Flash.
It's not. It's a Canadian
your
comedy.
winner's
It's
hanging
actually
out.
a movie we shouldn't do
Do,
because it's
do.
pretty funny.
Okay. Guess we've taken up enough of your time today, so have a great week and get to the chopper.